This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. If you have an immigration problem, please get in touch with me. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. Today I was initially going to talk about the announcement about the fantasy policies announced by the Prime Minister yesterday in respect of immigration, but this morning I woke to the very sad news that 3 people at least have died in the English Channel after a small boat sank. Firstly, my thoughts and prayers go out to those whose lives have been lost and the families and the people that have been affected by this tragedy. It is some relief that due to the hard work of the rescue services that apparently more than 30 people were saved, and I cannot commend highly enough the work of those people that were involved in that rescue and indeed the rescuing of other people. This again brings into stark reality a disaster that everyone, including the government, has said has been waiting to happen, which is a small boat with desperate people sinking in the English Channel. The question is, why do people use criminals and small boats to gain entry to the United Kingdom? The short answer, which is obvious to anyone and everyone except perhaps the Home Secretary, is that apart from a few countries there is no safe route for people to come to the United Kingdom and claim asylum. They are in fact forced, if they want to come and claim asylum to the United Kingdom, into the hands of criminal gangs and putting their lives at risk if they want to get to the United Kingdom where they may have friends, family or community. The truth, I believe, is that the Home Office and government knows this, but has not and is not interested in creating safe routes for asylum seekers. Why? Well, again, this is my opinion, bashing asylum seekers makes for headlines in the right-wing press and panders to what is essentially the crypto-racist thinking of the right-wing populism that is endemic in some parts of the country. In reality, I believe that there were around 70,000 asylum seekers last year. I recall that of the claims processed and appealed, around 75% were actually successful. So therefore, 75% of the people coming had an international and domestic right to be here. So why the big announcement? Surely the country faces bigger problems such as inflation, cost of living, strikes, the war in the Ukraine, to name but a few. It is also to be remembered that of the 504,000 migrants who came to the UK last year, only 70,000 were asylum seekers. So it hardly stands to amount to Cruella's invasion. Moving on from what sadly happened, let's turn to what the Prime Minister actually waffled on about. His announcement. Well, Richie has unveiled a new 5-point plan for how he hopes to tackle the ever-growing asylum backlog of 142,000 cases and pledges to clear the backlog by the end of next year. First, he announces there will be a unified small boats command that will use the technology to identify small boats. The PM gives that he would like to prosecute more small boat pilots and cites that the system is far too fragmented. Secondly, the government intends to carry on more raids on homes known to be harbouring illegal immigrants. They will undoubtedly ramp up raids in the holiday period, as the Home Office are well aware that a lot of legal representatives will be away. In addition, the Prime Minister also states that he intends on making it harder for asylum seekers to set up a bank account, as more data will be shared with the banks and the Home Office. Thirdly, he also plans on halving the $5.5 million currently spent on housing migrants in hotels and cities, and this will be done in housing migrants in former student halls, disused holiday parks and surplus military sites. Well, we know how well that ended in Manston, don't we? The fourth point in the government's plan is to start processing asylum claims in a matter of weeks or days, and that this will be effected by doubling caseworkers and slashing the amount of paperwork and interviews. This will apparently aid the government's aims to clear the asylum backlog by 2023. However, I'm sure this will translate into laxed safeguards and a greater abuse of authority and probably more allowed appeals. Finally, Mr Suella informs us that the Albanian Prime Minister has given us an assurance there's no reason why Albanians can't be returned immediately if their claims are rejected. Supposedly, people will only be able to claim to be victims of modern slavery if there's concrete evidence of this, not just a suspicion of this, which it's hard to prove that unless you get the actual slaver to actually admit to it. This is given as a measure that would lead to the vast majority, according to the government, of claims from Albania being declared as unfounded. This would lead to any Albanian making a protection claim having to start from a place of disadvantage and likely to have their claim refused and possibly certified without a right of appeal. So it all sounds great, it all sounds tough. Is it all really necessary? Are we being swamped by illegal migrants? More people came from Hong Kong as a result of the Chinese government than actually claimed asylum. And still that 70,000 out of 504,000, it's hardly a huge number. The UK has international obligations. Are the government prepared to stand by them, or are they prepared to throw them away in the hope of gaining a few more right-wing votes, because of the fact that given the way that the government is currently run and the country is currently going, the Conservatives will latch on to anything that they think will secure them a vote, which includes sadly bashing migrants, not introducing safe routes. If there were safe routes for people to claim asylum, I'm sure people wouldn't be paying criminal gangs to smuggle them across, or try to smuggle them across the English Channel in the middle of winter. But that's a question that is left open. Will there be safe routes? Will the Home Office introduce them? If I was betting on it, I would say no, they will do nothing but just make it more difficult for asylum seekers and make it harder for people to claim asylum in the United Kingdom. This, of course, ignores the million or so undocumented migrants in the United Kingdom, but then again, the government would prefer not to acknowledge that they're actually here at all. Again, as I finish this video, my thoughts and prayers really do go out to the people that have lost their lives and the families that would have suffered as a result of this. It's a sad state of affairs where people who want international protection or even a better way of life are forced to take their lives into their own hands. And I really wish this wasn't the case, and I really wish this government would do something humane about it. However, I fear that this is a forlorn hope, but there it is. Thank you for watching this video. I'm somewhat frustrated and angry at the government's inaction or inability to get to grips with this or introduce a humane way for people to claim asylum. And I have pointed out what I consider to be Rishi's fantasy policies for the next year, when really he ought to be getting on with trying to sort out the mess the country is in after 12 years of Conservative rule. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do stay safe. If you do have an immigration problem, please get in touch with me. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium.